Hello, welcome to another video. I know it's been a minute again, but I've been going through a lot of inner transformation, a lot of changes. Yes, the beard's gone now. Um, and boy, have we gotten a blizzard the past week. And it's finally melting away today. But, I mean, even right here, it's still very deep. But all the trees froze over. I mean, it was just really a time to reflect and a time to connect with your family and a time to enjoy the beauty of this nature. And it is absolutely beautiful. I'm watching the ice and stuff fall off the trees. I mean, it's beautiful. And today, I bring you a message for the drug addicts. If you're a drug addict, I want you to understand, especially if you're consuming and watching this type of content, my type of content, other similar content, you're okay. You're going to be okay. I've been an addict for a long ass time. And I got off of the heroin and the meth and all that stuff a little over a year ago. And, I still smoke cigarettes and weed and stuff like that and do a quarter of a Suboxone every day. But I don't even do a quarter anymore, actually. I got my tolerance down, and I'm still weaning it down. See, so what you'll do is, like what I did with heroin and meth, I'm addicted to the Suboxone. I don't know, something in me just feels like I need to have it every day, really, but I'm getting out of that. I know I don't need it anymore. I know it doesn't serve me. And you'll come to these realizations as well. But, like, with the heroin and the meth, like, what I did, and meth wasn't really a problem, really. I just did it all the time. I wasn't addicted to it, but I was very addicted to the heroin. And what I did was, I would get sober and go back to it. Get sober and go back to it. Or I would get my tolerance down and then bring my tolerance back up. And after I quit the heroin, I went back to it still yet a couple more times and tried it out. And eventually just didn't go back anymore. I'm over that phase of my life. I realized it wasn't serving me. And I kind of did it like a boss, man. I just, one day was like, I'm done. And went and sat in a camper for a couple weeks and got over my withdrawal symptoms, which really wasn't as bad as I was thinking they were going to be, because the other ones were really, really bad back in the day, but the energies are different on the planet now. It supports you getting sober. So it's not as difficult to get sober anymore. It's more the mental part than anything, than the physical. Your mind is a tricky thing, man. And it'll try to trick you into doing that drug like you need it and all that, but you don't. And if you just get past a week, the 7 days without doing it, it gets a lot easier. It takes a while for your energy to return, but it will. But that's what... that was ice falling out of the trees. But, a lot of what you will do, a lot of what you all will do is you will go back and forth between your addictions to comfort zones, whether it be food, anything. You'll go back and forth between your addictions, and you'll play around with it, what I'm saying? Like, not literally play, but like you'll mess around with it, like lowering your tolerance, testing the grounds, seeing what you feel like if you only do this much and stuff like that. These are all them little subtle changes are a huge deal. They're a huge deal, even though it might be a small change, and you might go back up to your original tolerance. You'll eventually come back down to that change again, and eventually you'll stay there. You'll plateau out there. And then you'll work on yourself some more and lower your tolerance a little more. And once you get to a certain amount to where you're comfortable, you can just let it go and deal with a little bit of withdrawal symptoms instead of coming off of it cold turkey from a high tolerance where you'll experience the most withdrawal symptoms. But things that don't serve you are being brought to the front right now, whether that be a relationship, an addiction, an unhealthy habit, whatever the case may be, unhealthy emotions. It's all being past traumas, our wounds, inner wounds, all that stuff's being brought up to the forefront right now for us to work through, and energetically deal with it, work through it in the physical. And it's all being brought to the surface so that we can become aware of it. so that we can, once we become aware of it, that's most of the battle. Because a lot of people, you can't change what you're not aware of, and that's what a lot of people are dealing with. They're not aware. They don't have the awareness yet. But the way the energies are on the planet, more and more people are getting that awareness. Like, even people who are asleep are starting to become conscious and aware of their reality. And a lot of them are like, I ain't taking those, for the roan, But, so, even the collective is starting to wake up. And millions are waking up. So many are waking up every day. And, I've said this in other videos. The spiritual channels that I watch or follow, I check in on from time to time. And eventually, you'll get to where you don't need all the spiritual channels anymore. And that's okay. You can detach from that. And then you'll be like me, and you'll have a couple main people that, you check in on from time to time. To see what they're posting, or see their perspective on something or something like that. But you won't need it every day, like you did at first. Because I was watching spiritual people every single day at first, and sometimes I still do watch them every day, but it's with a different perspective. Not because I need the knowledge now. Now it's for entertainment, because I like consuming that type of information, and also to learn more, because there's still plenty that. Like, we don't know shit, man. We don't. And that's a part of this process. When I woke up, I realized that my life had been a lie, and that I didn't know it. This proved that we don't know shit. Because metaphysical things were happening to me that were in movies. And shit that motherfuckers said you were crazy if you saw, and all that. And another big one is when you start waking up. And I know I've said stuff like this in videos, but I want to really cover a little bit of this right now. When you start waking up, and you're going to immediately want to talk to other people and tell them about this. And your family and your friends, there's going to be a lot of them that don't get you and don't understand you and will call you crazy. And this is okay. You will be so in your truth that you won't give a damn about them calling you crazy, and you're not crazy. And then what will also happen is some of the people that called you crazy will come around and start waking up. Like my sister and her husband, they thought I was crazy as hell, high on drugs at first when I told them that we were changing into crystalline beings and shit. My whole family thought I was nuts, even people at work. But as I started showing people proof and started showing them physical crystals shining on my skin and stuff, then people didn't really have a choice but to be like, okay, something's going on. And, it spawned my sister's husband's awakening. Like I said, though, you can't really wake anyone up. You can, give them the information, but their consciousness has to make the choice to awaken. Because I've also said the same information to people who are dead asleep and programmed and don't want to hear it. And it's literally like you're talking to a wall. They'll either meet you with resistance, or they'll stare off into space, or look for something else to look at or pay attention to other than you. So you'll get the message pretty clear. And this is why we plant seeds. You see, at first there wasn't no information, nobody telling me. Literally, you don't have to go wake everybody up. I thought it was literal. So I went literally trying to wake people up and tell them about this ascension and all this and that. And motherfuckers thought I was crazy. So, but I still didn't care because I was so in my truth. It resonated so strong. When you awaken, things will happen that you cannot deny. You literally cannot deny. So, let me see if there's anything else. But, most of all, you're not crazy. And your addictions, don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. Just keep taking those little subtle steps. And I made this because, I don't know, it just hit me out of nowhere, and I felt like someone needed to hear it. So, no matter what your addiction is, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're out of control. And I'm not out of control. I just do a very little bit. I smoke some weed and some cigarettes. And I do a little piece of a Suboxone pill every day. Like, one pill lasts me like 4 or 5 days. You know what I mean? And I'm not comfortable with letting it go yet. Part of the reason is because I've been stuck in the house without a car. But all that's fixing to get worked out. I can move around, place my attention elsewhere. Get around other spiritual people, other like minds. And that's another thing too, y'all. Find like minds in your physical reality. If you have a car, check out light worker meetup groups, spiritual meetup groups, all that stuff. Because we need a support system, and we got to start linking up in the physical. This internet stuff's good, and it's assisted hugely in this awakening, and my awakening, and the Great Awakening, and every way, a whole bunch of ways. But I think that's about it. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's about it, guys. I hope y'all been enjoying yourself. I hope you've been taking care of yourself. I hope you've been staying warm. Oh, another thing, like with foods, like sweets has been a big one for me, you know, and like I go back and forth. Right now I'm in that phase where I go back and forth between eating super healthy and then having some junk food. Like if your body, like especially if your body feels like it needs it during this ascension process, you're burning up tons of fuel, tons of calories. Even if you're sitting there, your body is metaphysically changing. You are changing to a different being on a quantum level. You are changing. So your body needs a lot of fuel, and if it needs meat or sweets or something, give it that. And if you're a vegan, you know what to do if you're a vegan. But everything's gonna be okay, guys. We got this. Like I said, if you're an addict, we got this, man. You know, we're basically born to be addicts here in this reality. You know, people are addicted to coffee, Coke. Like I quit drinking Cokes, you know, and all that stuff. You know, like last year, and every once in a while, I'll splurge and have me a Coke. But you know, I know that I'm really not wanting to do that anymore either. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had like a couple Cokes in the past like few months. But that's it for today. I'll have another video soon. I'm not going to say the daily anymore because so much has been going on internally especially. But I will see y'all soon. I love you very much. Peace. Lots and lots and lots of love. Lots of health. Namaste.